गुड मॉर्निंग इंडिया एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी गोना टच ऑन समथिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, द फैक्ट दैट इंडिया इज ग्रोइंग थ्रू ट्रस्ट एंड नॉट FTAs alone. India is growing on the basis of its factor of reliability, consistency, the ability to deliver over a period of time, and of course, the most major issue is trust. Today, we are at a stage where no one trusts the global powers. No one trusts USA. No one trusts China. It's a well-known fact, right? There's nothing very new about it. But people trust India, and we're going to see this going ahead. And that is one factor which is, going to take us to where we are supposed to go eventually. So let's get going and see what is this happening, which show. I mean, let me also put it. This is the fifth or the sixth in the series of India growing. If you see in the description of this video, you'll see all the others, listed out videos. Have a look at it. I've been doing this for the past 6-7 months regularly to put across how India is growing in a manner which is quite unstoppable. It's all round and everywhere. Wherever I go, I get some information about that place and put it across to you. And I give you a balanced view as what's happening in India. It's not in Delhi. It's not in big cities like Chennai, Mumbai, Calcutta, and Bangalore, all over India. And that's what we're going to see. How is India growing in an all-round manner? Right? And I'd also like to add and thank Vivek Berry for all his comments which he has put. In God we trust used to be an all quarters USA coin and green paper, but we trust in God, our God, whoever it is, right? So I'm thankful, Vivek, for having given so many comments. Very interesting. You touched upon all the tunnels and all that over across Brahmaputra. Later, I will touch on it. Okay, and we'll have a look at it and see how things are going. And we're going to have a detailed interaction today because it's been a long time since I've done a solo and where we had interaction. Um, we'll spend some time. Right, we know all the FTAs which you have done in the recent past. We've done with all these. Let me show it to you everywhere. Right, you've done with Maldives, you've done with UAE, you've done with New Zealand, you've done with Australia, right? And UK, EFTA, EU, okay, Oman, and you're on the verge of signing a trade deal with USA. Look, let me also put it across. The deal with USA is not done. It's only a framework agreement. But later, just a few days hence, President Lula is coming, and we're going to sign some major deals with France. Okay, and President Lula also wants a FTA. We are on the verge of signing a FTA with Malaysia. A lot of people are coming for FTAs, but do FTAs mean everything? FTAs give you a gateway to trade more. We have to make use of it. How do you make use of it? And that's what we're going to touch on, right? There's a very interesting graph. This I showed it. When does a country grow? A country grows well only when the weakest part of the country grows fast forward. Okay, I found this interesting thing about UP, and it's again something indicator of our times in which we are living. UP presented its first ever economic survey a few days back. That's what this tweet says. Okay, now the state GDP grew from 14.76 lakh crores in 17-18 to 30 lakh crores current. 24, 25. And it's supposed to go up to 36 later. And for a long time, we always felt that UP was the laggard. UP, the Bimaru states, right? Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, UP, Rajasthan. These are the Bimaru states. They are growing today. That's the most important thing for me. The weakest links in our fabric are growing. And when that happens, you can't stop a country. Then you've reached a critical mass. Have we reached that critical mass? I think so. Then there's another interesting thing which I came across, the cost of living. Have a look at it in little detail, so that you understand where we are. See, you look at this. The red one is the high cost of living. The blue one are the places where the cost of living is the lowest, or it's low. Look at it. Look at the where India stands in terms of cost of living. It's one of the lowest in the world. Now people don't understand it. But if you have one of the lowest cost of livings in the world and your economy is growing the fastest, obviously your life is much better than what it is everywhere else. This is something people don't have to understand. You might, people say, oh, wages in China are much more than India. Yeah, they might be. They might be 10 times more from my side. But is he leading a better way of life? Is his cost of living better than mine? For the same 2000 rupees in India, I'll get more because of the lesser cost of living than, otherwhere else. Anywhere else, for the same amount, it's a pittance. And I felt so. Whenever I've gone abroad, many countries, I've always felt life in India is cheaper. And with the money which I earn in India, and it isn't much in outside terms, I lived a very good life. In India, with what I earn, what my government gives me pension, and the facilities it gives me, really speaking, not many people abroad can enjoy this kind of life, the standard of life. And this is something which we have to understand. And when you look at it from this perspective, India is far ahead of the curve than most of the people. Right? And if you keep growing at the way it is, it will be much better. You don't need a comparison of what USA is doing or China is doing or what Norway is doing or what Malaysia is doing. You have to ensure that the life of our own people are better. That they have enough food to eat, they have clothes, they have shelter, affordable, they have good health, they have good security. And that in India, let me tell you, is far more than many other places. And that was evident during the COVID season, where everyone in India got the same kind of vaccines free of cost. I don't think this happened anywhere else. Anyway, let me now talk of various facets. I found this. Someone told me, one of our viewers only uh, pointed my attention here. Now, India has been invited to be an associate to the Horizon Europe. This is the first fruit of the India EU deal. I must tell you this. It's a low hanging fruit. What is this Horizon Europe? Right? You have to understand. Horizon Europe is a fund where a lot of money, you're looking at about 95 billion per annum being put into research and development. Okay, and India has been called in as an associate member. Other associate members are Canada and Korea. The third associate member will be India. So far, it was not so. Then, what does it do? What is its strategic focus? It aims to strengthen cooperation in fields like artificial intelligence, space tech, clean energy, and health. Today, Indian researchers have to go on a co-funding mechanism. You have to do some with EU and then get into this fund. It's not as if it's not available, but now we can directly apply. And how did I come to know? One of you who's in Paris rang me up and said, "Sir, this is it. And today it's open to you. Why don't you apply?" I mean, I was surprised just to apply for this fund, because even to apply for this fund, you have to go through a process, a rigorous process. You get 20,000 euros. If you get the fund, it's a hell of a lot more. And he told me, he said, "I've got that fund, 20,000 euros just for applying." And so I've told my chaps in IIT, apply. We'll apply. Right? You have to understand. This is technology. You can make your own technology at their expense. Of course, you'll share the technology with them. See, things how are opening up. What are the pillars? Science, global challenges, and it is industrial European industrial competitiveness. But if you go and do it, you can use it for your own thing. Innovative Europe, about innovative ecosystems. I've given you only the headings. So there is a world opening up now, which was not there before these FTAs and all. The more important part of this FTAs is this: it is not trading. You can sell gems and import machinery. That is nonsense, to my way of looking at it. It is only making money by a few chaps, industry jobs, which is good. I mean, but largely nonsense. What is important is education, technology, the opportunity to do things on an equal footing with everyone else. To that extent, what the European FTA, very important. In my own way of looking at it, the India EU, FTA is far more important than the India US deal. That's a trade deal. This goes beyond that. This is a strategic partnership which is evolving, and this will leverage other trades, other deals. Second most important, I think, is the one with UAE. When I look at India EU, I also look at FTA. Okay. Then the matter of trust. I said it's a matter of trust. So what I'm going to do is show you this clip where someone else is speaking about how they trust India. If you can't see this clip, you can't hear this clip, let me know. I have an alternate mechanism where I can put it in. Okay, there's a pretty old clip which came about 2 weeks back. I've been holding it back. I didn't know how to use it, but I found it interesting. I'm sharing it with you.
And in light of the news on this EU-India deal, I do just want to note that the UAE's Minister for Industry is expanding on last week's signing of what was a strategic...
I need a feedback. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can't hear, let me know. I mean, not me, the clip. Right. And I'll play it. If you can't hear, I'll replay it through another method.
Strategic partnership with India, building on an already very deep relationship. The UAE ranks as India's third largest trading partner. Speaking at India's Energy Week conference in Goa, Dr. Sultan Al Jaber highlighted India's ambition for rapid growth as a key factor in their agreement.
This is the important thing. Listen to this gentleman from UAE and what he talks about trust, right?
As Prime Minister Narendra Modi put it so clearly, India does not do progress in increments. It goes for quantum leaps. And progress at this pace and growth at this scale demands a special kind of partnership. Partnership that is strategic, long-term, agile, and flexible. Partnership that is steadfast, dependable, reliable, principled, and consistent.
See what he's saying. He says he wants a partnership which is steadfast, principled, long term, consistent. This is what they seek from India, right? And this is what the world around us seeks. I'm not talking of USA. I'm not talking of EU and all. The smaller, more important countries which are around us. This is what they seek. They will not go and talk of like this in China. But listen,
and partnership that is based on trust.
so partnership based on trust. India is trusted, and that is how we are going to grow. That's important. Okay?
And partnership that will endure through thick and thin.
Partnership which will endure through thick and thin and grow. I'm repeating these things because I think this clip is the crux of my entire presentation today.
That is precisely what defines the UAE India partnership.
Right? And this could be applicable for probably
Steadfast.
anyone else.
And
Right? One. Number two, a lot of things has happened, in terms of Russian oil. Should we go and buy Russian oil, not buy Russian oil, ditch them, uh, all that. And I think our government of India has put it out very clearly. And it is everything what we do is based on national interest. And I want you to listen to him because we are doing that precisely. What we do is for our national interest. What is good for the common man, the weakest link in India. Let's hear him.
As energy security or energy sourcing is concerned, the government has stated publicly on several occasions, including me here, that ensuring the energy security of 1.4 billion Indians is the supreme priority of the government. Diversifying our energy sourcing in keeping with objective market conditions and evolving international dynamics is at the core of our strategy to ensure this. All of India's decisions are taken and will be taken with this in mind.
So it's very clear. Whatever we are doing is for our national interest, taking the interest of 1.4 billion people on board. If whatever India does not meet this requirement, well, we don't need a FTA. We don't need a partnership. And I would also like to highlight, we shouldn't be worried about what USA does and all that. They keep doing what they want, what Trump does. I'm of the firm opinion. We bucked the trend many more times, and everyone said we'll cap India, we'll destroy India, this, that. Has it happened? It can't happen. You can't put a cap on 1.4 billion people who are hardworking, want to go ahead, and trustworthy. If not this fellow, someone else will come. And why did Trump come running? Because he found that USA can't do what it wants to do without India. The trade deal is irrelevant, and I'll talk of it separately. Maybe today evening, India-US relations. Look at a growth story. This is, I'm now taking you to the Reserve Bank of India. What does the governor of the Reserve Bank of India feel about our growth? It's not just that one thing, that FTA thing. That's what I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important. Let's listen to the governor of the Reserve Bank.
With the signing of a landmark trade deal with the European Union and the US trade agreement in sight, growth momentum is likely to be sustained for a longer period.
So what he says is growth momentum is likely to be sustained for a longer period. So this growth, which we knew, everyone in the world says so. Everyone as the world has been saying for the next 20 years, it will be India growth story. But with these deals, with this kind of trust, everything, this growth momentum will sustain itself for the next 20, 30 years and maybe more. right? It's in the nature of people here.
Global growth, supported by tech investments, accommodative financial conditions, and large scale fiscal stimulus, is expected to be marginally stronger this year than projected earlier. How
So whatever the projections earlier, they're going to be stronger this year. And in terms of tech, whatever. That's why that AI summit, we'll cover it. We'll cover it in the shortly, maybe next week. We'll also look at many things which are starting off in India today. I'm not covering it because we don't have full view of it, but I'll give you some idea of it. We're having that international fleet review. We're having the Milan exercises. Of course, the AI summit.
the confluence of escalating geopolitical friction and rising trade tensions is unraveling the existing world economic order. Inflation outcomes are heterogeneous across jurisdictions, remaining above target in most advanced economies, prompting divergence in monetary policy actions as central banks near the end of their current easing cycles. Against a global backdrop that has increasingly become more cautious, bond market sentiments remain bearish, reflecting fiscal sustainability concerns. However, equity markets driven by tech stocks remain upbeat. The Monetary Policy Committee met on 4th, 5th, and today to deliberate and decide on the policy repo rate after a detailed assessment of the evolving macroeconomic conditions and the economic outlook. The MPC voted unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.25%. Consequently, the STF rate remains at 5% and the MSF rate and the bank rate at 5.5%. The MPC also decided to continue with the neutral stance.
Right. So for those of you who are interested in stocks, equities, bonds, and all, this is music to ears. You look at the Chinese markets, you look at the Japanese markets, and you look at the American market. You see, the spookiness in an economy comes from bonds, not equities. Look at everyone how they talk, how people are dumping American bonds and people are even dumping Chinese bonds and all that. Here it's steady. What a governor of the Reserve Bank has portrayed a picture of steadiness. I've always maintained it's not the speed at which you grow. You look at the Western movies where the chap, that gunslinger, comes out, shoots very fast. I read a profound book in the Western, classics. Guys like Zane Grey and all. You read those classics where he says the guy who was steady, not a gunslinger, the chap who could calmly take out his weapon and shoot the other guy down, is the much better character. Because when you do that, you do it with character. The gunslinger is fast. He is more interested in speed. He doesn't achieve much. That's what China is. China and Pakistan, these Arabs are all gunslingers. They're hair trigger artists. Whereas what we do is completely different. We are slow, steady, and we will continue to do what we have to do. Okay. Now, there's another very interesting graph I got hold of. Okay. And this is something which you must see fully, This is the falling rates of Indian poverty in various, states. Look, the red one, let's not look at the figures and all that, look at it graphically. The red line is the earlier rate, and today the green line is this. Of course, there's a lot of poverty. Look at Bihar. There's a lot of poverty in Bihar, but see how much it has reduced. People talk, 800 million people were lifted out of poverty by China, and that's a great achievement. You're not lesser. Over a period of time, you have achieved hell of a lot. Is it enough? No. You need to do more. Are we aware of it? I think so. That's why I showed you the UP model in the first place. If UP grows and the poverty in UP comes down, it'll come down in Bihar or next door. It'll happen. It's a matter of time. One has to be patient. That's why when people say, "Oh, your GDP is only 4 trillion and their GDP is 50 trillion," it doesn't matter. The cost of life is cheaper here, and my people are getting out of poverty. My people are getting better value for their money than elsewhere. You go to US and see that the health. Whenever I go to US, I'm very scared of only one thing: I shouldn't fall sick. And I'm very happy when I sit back on that plane and come back here. Because here, it doesn't matter. Even if I fall sick, I can go to a doctor, get myself treated. There, I'm not sure. Yeah. So these are the things which you have to understand. And if all was not enough, you just started a free trade agreement or rather a talk with Saudi Arabia, the Gulf Cooperation Council. We've done with UAE, Oman, all these places. Now GCC has come. So when you talk of the Pakistan Saudi deal, that strategic partnership and all that nonsense, talk of it, doesn't it? Where does this leave Pakistan? Just think, Saudi Arabia does a defense deal with Pakistan, and they do a trade deal with us. पैसा कमाना हमारे पास चाहते हैं. They want to go there for hiring mercenaries, basically to hire Pakistanis to do their job. They want an army which they can pay and use, and that's what they're doing. And through that, they will be deployed in Gaza, Yemen, ye, wo. But we'll talk of Pakistan separately. Because the time has come for Pakistan to pay its bill. Bill for what? That free lunch. And probably I'll do it before today evening's, India-Pakistan match. Recently, our Prime Minister went to Malaysia. What came out of that? A lot of other things came out. But the interesting part is we're going to deal with each other in local currencies. So you're not on dollar thing with Malaysia. When can you deal with local currencies with each other comfortably? When the trade and flow between both the countries is good. And if you are a surplus of one currency, you can invest with that currency in that particular country. That's what's happened here. Because the trade flow through Malaysia, between Malaysia and India, are huge, both ways. So it is logical to settle our equations in local currencies, either in the ringgit or in the rupee. And what's more, they're looking at UPI going there. So you see, why things are changing. Why do people trade in your currency and you accept their currency and local currency and trust? Trust and trust. And this is what even the Philippines president had said when he came here last year. Trust. Civilizational trust. They don't go and talk like this in China, do they? No one talks of that. Everyone says China's GDP is $19 trillion, where yours is only $4 trillion. But do they have trust? That trust is worth the other $15 trillion and more. Okay. It is not only in these things, you're diversifying. This trust goes on to other things. And here, listen to this gentleman. He's a foreign secretary. And he's speaking of India's defense exports, how they're going and how they're diversifying. And I'll talk of it at the end of it. First, listen to him.
Is concerned. We are looking at sale of Dornier aircraft. Malaysia also has Scorpion submarines. We're looking at opportunities to try and collaborate, especially in terms of midlife upgrades, retrofitting, etc. You had also mentioned the potential for collaborating on Su-30 aircraft. Malaysians have that aircraft, and so do we. We've offered proposals for modification, upgradation, and midlife maintenance. We are also looking at potential for supply of naval platforms by Indian shipyards. So those are all areas that look promising. We hope to be able to get something going on these areas. As far as the question of Zakir Naik is concerned.
So the point is this, forget Zakir Naik. You started diversifying and exporting to many other countries besides what you did earlier. And the focus is just not on new equipment, big equipment. When you milk a cow, you milk everything. So this is milking. I've always maintained repair and maintenance is milking. If you can give them spares, you can give them upgrades, you can give them, small things like Dorniers and all that, which we make, right? We make Dorniers in Kanpur. I've been to that assembly line. Okay. So this increases. You know why? Look, I might buy a piece of equipment, I might have a piece of equipment, but I need to maintain it. And maintenance is 50% of the cost through its life. You pay and you spend more, 50% to maintain it. Then it comes to a point where you want to upgrade it, you pay another 50%. Because by then, right, what you paid, if you want a new thing, you need 5 times more. So you pay the same 50% again, the cost of the thing for an upgrade. And then you maintain with that upgrade. That's how it goes. Defense planning goes that way. It doesn't go by buying new items every day. You buy an item, you maintain it, you upgrade it, you re-maintain it, probably a second upgrade, and then you push it out and give it off as scrap or wherever. And if you can do what this is now started, which is a new trend, okay, around your countries. Like I said, you don't have to go far. People around you will come. And I've been speaking of this for long. The revenue route is the more remunerative route. And once you have the revenue route going, not the capital, the capital route will come. One. Number two, you develop trust and equity around your neighborhood. Okay, you develop trust and equity around your neighborhood. So just look at what's happening with Malaysia. A prime minister did all. Then you're giving defense equipment, you're starting to trade in local currencies and all that. So I'm just giving you one example. Already you sorted out issues with Sri Lanka, Maldives, now Malaysia. I'm sure one of these days we'll do it with Thailand. On this side, you've got Oman. Oman and India are thick. UAE, Saudi. Just think what's happening. Afghanistan. Yeah, we still have a problem with Bangladesh, but we discussed Bangladesh yesterday. I'm hopeful that Bangladesh things will change. Pakistan though is irredeemable. There's no point talking of Pakistan. But what about the others? Right? So we have started making progress. Okay. And then the Greek defense minister came. I'm giving you various facets where we are going. Why is the Greek defense minister coming here? What does he want? Of course, he'll repeat the same thing, trust, he want all that I didn't show. But he's looking at 3+1. What is this 3+1? This 3+1, you look at this is the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? This is the Mediterranean Sea. Now this is Israel. This is Cyprus. And this is Greece. They are now in a trilateral strategic relationship. so that Turkey can be kept bottled, because Turkey troubles Cyprus and Greece. Okay, and they now these three are there. Now they want us to join in 3+1, and this is periods where the IMEC has to go through. And the defense, the Greek minister wants to come. Or why is he come? Because of the India EU pact. So because of that India EU pact, it's going to take some time, because by the time everyone ratifies, it's going to take some time. So individually, countries are coming to India to strike deals. वो तो पैक्ट आता रहेगा, now हो गया. By the time due process happens, and the due process happens in our country, and it is ratified, maybe next year we'll sign the MOU properly and all that. Before that, action is starting. And I said this earlier also in this thing. So things are moving, rolling forward. We have to understand that. And if India joins this 3+1, your footprint is expanded to the Mediterranean. And you're bottling up Turkey. Why are you bottling up Turkey? If you have a naval presence at Piraeus, okay, one of the problems with Turkey is it has hardly any EEZ or coastal territorial waters, because all the islands of Greece are next to Turkey. They have hardly any islands there, nothing. There are tightly, restricted maritime area they have. Yeah, of course. I must tell you, Piraeus port is a Chinese port. We're going to have. But the fact that the entire Europe wants Piraeus as the thing, and Greece wants us to get in and all, there is some ejection plan for China. Don't be surprised. Maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years after the contract with the Chinese port is done, or the Chinese system is done, they'll say, please go get the Indian one. It might happen. I don't know. But the way things are happening, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Our people step up to the plate? That's the question. Then something very interesting happened. Okay, the president of Seychelles was here recently, and we gave them a 175 million aid package. It was a state visit. Very simple, very small. Who's bothered about Seychelles? We are only talking of USA, Russia, China, but there are other countries. They are your neighborhood. You have an Indian Ocean. What's interesting is India, Seychelles are working on development of an airport on Assumption Island. That is what has come out officially. Now you have to understand, and now let me take you into the Indian Ocean to understand what is going on there. Because we don't understand, बेवकूफ के बेवकूफ ही रहेंगे. We will only look at Pakistan, Bangladesh, you will look at USA, China, ये वो, उसके बाद उसके दायरे में से बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे, बुद्धि कम हो जाएगा हमारा. आप समझिए सबको, हिंदी में बोल रहा हूं जिसको अंग्रेजी नहीं आता. You think big. Every drop of water counts in an ocean. We are entering that ocean. Now let me explain. What is this little kidney bean? This is Assumption Island. What is this here? Right? What is this here? This is an airport, and this is the airport we are going to develop. Now, once you develop this island and this airport, we use it. Okay? We use it for all purposes. It's a very fundamental thing. And what is this island? This is called Agaliga. And why did we take it? Agaliga is part of Mauritius. We've got a foothold here because there's an airfield here which is with us. Who uses it? Indian Navy. Now look at this map and understand what I'm going to tell now. Okay. This is Dukum. Oman has virtually given Dukum to us. To Dubai, do what you want with this. This is Assumption Island. the one with Seychelles, which I just spoke of. Now, this controls the Madagascar Strait. Okay, this is the Madagascar Strait. It's in this. So anything from here to here, today you have capability. And this is, of course, Agaliga. This is Minicoy, Andaman Nicobar, mainland. Don't you control the Indian Ocean virtually? And if Mr. Trump and USA behave, and this is Diego Garcia, with this, no one can come inside to do anything with you. We are acquiring bases, and you talk of China. यार China base के बिना क्या करेगा वो यहाँ आके? You've seen what China's capability is in this Iran-Israel war, and even now, what's happening to Iran? Is China doing anything about it? Very little. They can't. हाँ, 2-3 submarines घूमेंगे, but just 2-3 submarines loafing around here mean nothing, or 2-3 spy ships loafing around here mean nothing. Their aircraft carrier, mind you, Chinese aircraft carriers has not left their territorial waters. Maximum it goes beyond Taiwan and then it runs back. They're supposed to have the biggest fleet. Where is this biggest fleet? They're going to really get fish somewhere. Look at the equities you have. You have actual footholds. And if things go well, and if, say, Malaysia agrees tomorrow, and as it is, you have been asked by Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore to be part of the petrol for the Malacca Strait. They didn't ask China. They asked us. Israel is here sitting in Somaliland. I've spoken about this earlier. And, UAE is here in Yemen. In Yemen today, it's UAE and Saudis. Both are with you. Till this main route comes, the alternate IMEC route is on. Your span of control has increased. That is why USA, they know that in this area, in the Indian Ocean region, they cannot do without India. USA doesn't have this capability. Just see, India can operate all these places because of trust small countries. The same countries are howling when USA comes anywhere near. Okay. Today, one of the constraints which USA has to invade Iran is the fact that all the countries in the Gulf have said, please don't come and deploy near us. That's why he had to move a second aircraft carrier. Don't understand it. Okay. The French president is coming here, 17th to 19th, shortly, day after tomorrow. Okay. And on 19th February, he's going to attend the AI summit. But more importantly, he's going to come for the Rafale deal. And we'll talk of it. We'll talk of the Rafale deal. In fact, it's not only the Rafale deal. What we're going to do, there's a major step up on our air capability. What is this? We're getting the Rafale. The deal is on. I think all steps have been cleared. We should be announcing the deal in a couple of days. You're getting a P-81 Poseidon aircraft, 6 of them from USA, and the HAPS. These are pseudo satellites. This will all come out in black and white. What will this happen? This will come in the next 4-5 years. I've already done yesterday morning when you people were here. We did this discussion with Sandeep Punithan. All right, on the implication of this 114 Rafales. I'm not going to repeat it. I've taken that out and I put it out as acquisition of 114 Rafales, a new clip. Have a look at it. My thought process, we are doing it 10 years late, but better late than never. We should have done it then. Okay. But let's look at the official thought process of Rafale. This is the Defense Secretary speaking. And I thought the fundamental premise on which they're going is pretty sound. And he's not saying something new which we didn't think of 10 years back. But he's speaking in the contemporary sense. Listen to him.
The Indian industry. So, I want to say that it has 3-4 elements that were never available for us in the past. First, for the first time, Rafale aircraft will be manufactured outside France with significant levels of localization. We are seeking a minimum of 40 to 50%. I think they've already offered something close to 40%, but our intent is to take it to as close to 50 plus as possible, and we are confident that we can negotiate that. So first time Make in India Rafale outside France, backed up by a government-to-government agreement, no intermediaries, no full transparency in the project itself. So Make in India, G2G, significant levels of localization, full authority to integrate Indian weapons and Indian systems. These are the sort of highlights of this program. End of the day, it also enables us to induct fighter aircraft relatively quickly, because the first of the Rafale Marines will start coming in 28. And after that, over a period of time, you will see from about 3.5 years from now, the first of these Air Force Rafales will also start coming. So hopefully in the next, from 28 onwards, we'll have a continuous stream of Rafales coming into the Air Force and the Navy and beefing up the depleting fighter strength of this country.
So he's talking of the fighters. But what about transport aircraft? We're getting that also. We're getting the Embraer here. Adani Embraer deal is on. And Brazil, the president is coming here next week. Let's see what he says. We're also looking at the Russian IL-114, which is for tactical lift. You don't always need a Globemaster for everything. You need small lift. We've done that. We've gone in for the Tata Airbus deal, C95. Right? So I think we are, as far as our air power is concerned, we are moving on multiple directions, which is good. Again, like I say, please have a look at what Sandeep Punithan and I spoke yesterday. And I put the video out separately. That's acquisition of 114 Rafales. So have a look at it. You'll understand where we are going. And it's a damn good thing which is happening. Right? Okay. Then let's move ahead. We've also carried out an Agni 3 test, an operational test. And we keep carrying it out. And this is important. Why? Let me give you an actual story about this. It's not a story, it's an actual thing. You know, what is this test all about? This was test of taking one missile out of your stock and firing. You know, normal tests, what do you do for showcasing and all that? You take a brand new missile and fire it. It will perform. But the real thing is, you don't know how this missile is inside the canister. And you take it out, do check out and fire, will it perform or not? That's a question mark always. And the failure rates in missiles are pretty high. Let me give you a actual thing. BrahMos. Long before the BrahMos, Air Force got BrahMos and Navy also got BrahMos. It was Army which got BrahMos. So we were told, okay, organize a test. I was told, we don't know how the BrahMos is. We've never seen it firing out. It's only that all you people keep saying it's firing well. We want a demonstration of BrahMos firing. I said, yeah, we must. And I also said, look, I want to fire an old missile. I don't want to fire a brand new missile. I as a DGRT, I had to be confident that the missiles I have are good. So Mr. Manohar Parikar said, yes, good idea. Shankar, arrange karo. So I went, did what I had to do. When we fired in Andaman Nicobar, one missile. And it went into the sea. Mr. Manohar Parikar was sitting in Delhi and watching the TV. Yeah, kahan hai, kahan hai, kahan hai, and it never came because it went into the sea. Then I took an aircraft, loafed all around the Andaman Sea to see where is this missile gone. Who will go? It's gone down. That's it. End of story. Came back. I was worried. So I called the CEO of Brahmos and we said, look, we have to sit together, see that this never happens again. Then we got hold of the Russian guys also, and we went into details, whatever minor adjustments we had to do. And 6 months later, we fired 2 missiles on separate days, old ones, and on 2 separate days on the same target. And believe you me, they came in like 8. Both these craters made a figure of 8. And I must tell you something. On day one, I was there to witness the firing. The next day, the same night, I had to get back to Delhi. Saw the firing, got back, and got the last flight off to Delhi. And on the next day, General Naramne, at those days, he was commanding 2 corps. We met and told him, look, all the best. Have a look. He was a co-commander, and this BrahMos unit was under him. He had come to see that. I said, take care. And of course, we knew each other from NDA. He was my junior. He said, sir, thanks a lot. And I said, today the firing went well. It's possible that tomorrow you might not get that, you might get a dud, because that's how missiles are. But all the best. And it performed beautifully next day. This is a story. And this is what is happening now. You have to constantly fire your in-stock missiles so that you know what's the problem and you can upgrade them or repair them. Missiles have to be repaired. What do you repair in a missile? You might have to upgrade the propulsion, because there's a chemical decay of the propulsion system, or you repair the guidance system. You test the guidance system. It's a constant process. It's easy to say I have so many missiles, and it's a very costly process to repair these missiles. Let me assure you this. And not everyone does it. We have the capability, thank God. And then, of course, you would have heard that, look, yesterday the news was that off Vijaypuram, that is Port Blair, we're getting some gas and oil and Andaman and all that. There's exploration going on. That's fine. And you would have heard that we're getting off the Russian oil, which is a hot topic. We're getting Venezuelan oil. Yes. But equally, we're getting oil from Brazil. Mr. Lula is coming here. Why? For this. And this is what Mr. Hardeep Puri says. Have a look.
Term contract for supply of 12 million barrels of Brazilian crude between BPCL and Petrobras. It's about 780 billion million US dollars. MOU between BPRL and Shell for potential participation in farm opportunities across the globe. MOU between OIL, NRL, and Total Enterprises. MOU between NRL and Total Energies. So these are things which are already being talked about. There will be several others I don't know about, or which will be finalized there. Apart from that, the Prime Minister will also have his usual roundtable with the CEOs of the energy sector. I think this is the 9th in a series, certainly the 4th in the IEW phase. Earlier, it was being done earlier, and this is some of the world's most important CEOs in the sector will be attending.
So what's happening? So what Mr. Hardeep Puri is saying is that you're getting petrol from oil from Brazil. So you're diversifying, and this is going to be a partnership, and it's going to be a regular pipeline. 1. 2, you heard that the Prime Minister is going to speak with he must have spoken. This is an old one of the India Energy Week. of international companies he's spoken, oil and energy sector. So you have a prime minister who's hands-on, and you have a minister who's absolutely clear what he's talking of. And things are happening on ground. You're doing new explorations. What more do you want? Yeah, some might say things are not happening at the pace at which they're supposed to happen. But who decides the pace? It is us. We shouldn't go at the pace at which China is progressing. That is useless. Do you see where the problem in China is today? We have spoken of it. The latest. Now, this is what? Brahmaputra. You want to put an underwater rail tunnel or underground railroad tunnel on Brahmaputra. So let me explain this Brahmaputra Kahani to you. Okay? A little more about which Vivek Berry has written so much. Look, this is Brahmaputra. Okay? Now, on Brahmaputra, the bridges, crossing Brahmaputra is huge. You can't cross Brahmaputra anywhere. And this is Arunachal. So you have, from a defense perspective, a whole lot of things north of Brahmaputra and a whole lot of things south of Brahmaputra. And you have to move across Brahmaputra at many places to get your stuff across. Or from north to south to come down for many things. More bridges, better. So today, what you have? This Golpara Bridge. It's called Naranarayan Setu. Then the Saraighat Bridge, Guwahati, right? And this Kalia Bomora Setu is the Tezpur Bridge. Okay. Bogibeel Bridge, which was constructed and finished a few years back, and the Sadhya Bridge. And ahead you have the Parashram Kund, which is, on Lohit River. Now you're putting one here, Gopur and Numaligarh. And this is going to be underground. And underground for rail and road. Now that means your broad gauge, which comes all the way here, can go across and go up. Or even if you have meter gauge. And there's gauge conversion happening north. Okay. Somewhere here is Rangia. From Rangia, it goes up to Murkok Saleng. Okay. And so there's a huge shift in infrastructure happening in the northeast. It's not only on the border, in the hinterland. Now, once these connectivities north and south of Brahmaputra happen, northeast gets unleashed. They have energy, they have minerals, they have the people, and they have the climate. Very good for semiconductors, that climate. Right? You have water. A lot of water in the northeast. And a lot of water goes down into Brahmaputra and it's wasted. So you have everything and it's happening. Connectivity is important across Brahmaputra if you want to progress in Assam. Otherwise, that north is one separate story and south is another story. Okay. And of course, I've got this clip only to show you that there are a lot of misconceptions about India, a lot of narratives about India, all nonsense is spoken about India. And look at what this girl has to say about India. It's very different.
The terrible way that content creators have been portraying India, especially on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, as well as just the growing racism against Indian people. Tourists will go to places like Old Delhi and kind of say that this is what India looks like when it's just one really small part of a city, which is a very small part of a very large country. Maybe more the average tourist from places like Canada will look at India and say like, oh, they don't even have great hotels. But it's just because people aren't showcasing the amazing hotels. I visited Delhi and Rishikesh, but when I was in Delhi, I stayed in the Shangri-La. It was only about 160 Canadian dollars a night. And it was amazing. The hotel is beautiful. The service is just out of this world. Like the hospitality industry in India is so incredible, and they have world-class hotels with world-class service, but tourists rarely show that side of India. India is one of the only countries in the world that has like every kind of landscape. They have mountains, they have desert, they have rainforests, they have beaches, they have everything. They have world-class cities. And so the fact that people boil India down to like one street in Old Delhi is kind of unfathomable, and we don't see this with other countries. It's really interesting because I don't feel like tourists do this for any other country. If you search up like travel to Vietnam, you'll never see people post things like, I tried Vietnam's worst street food and I almost died, or like, look at how dirty and look at how poor the people are here. Like, I think this is really exclusive to India. We really don't see this with other countries in Asia, and we definitely don't see it in European countries. People don't go to Paris and say like, look at how dirty the streets are and look at how poor everybody is. Because you could definitely go to poor neighborhoods and exploit the people there and make these kind of videos, but we just don't see it. And so it really is a case that India is being directly targeted. And I think it's really unfair and it's really disgusting. Overall, I think it's time that we change the narrative and we start calling out content creators who are posting India in such a negative way just for views and clickbait. And we fight back against the racism in the comments and just call it out for what it is. I hope that in the future, if you've been thinking about where to travel next, you consider India.
Important, isn't it? Narratives. We are caught in a narrative war against us. That's why I showed this. And that's why I do programs like this. People who see such programs of mine need to understand how India is growing. It's not just saying India is growing, but actually how is it growing? Of course, I am not in the tourist business. I can't, I don't have the head for it. But at least geostrategically, geopolitically, geoeconomically, I can put across. And that's what I'm trying to do with these videos. And I'd request all of you to like this video and share this video with your friends. And also subscribe to Gunner Shot and join me as members. And talking of subscription, something very funny is happening. I don't know why the subscriptions have fallen off a cliff. I find 5 subscriptions in a day or 6 subscriptions in a day. It makes me feel a little small. Yeah, thoda subscribe karo. Okay, and press that bell icon also. So you see this change which is happening, and of course this damn thing which has come out from this map by USA, right, where they shown Jammu and Kashmir and Aksai Chin as part of India has lit a fire in Pakistan and in China. And this is put out by USA, right? Officially. Look at this. This is the government of USA seal on it. So, well, it has its own value, right? Our position is shifting. People will start aligning. These are subtle ways of putting across points. Okay, this is about what other things, but they put it out officially. Everyone must have seen. Those who are active on social media would have seen this. There's a huge furor on this, but that's okay. And then last but not the least, there are dangers. And I went and spoke in the National Police Academy about threats to our internal structure because of what's happening in Nepal, what's happening in Bangladesh, and what's happening in Pakistan. And this is one of them. Look at this. There's a Chinese who was caught in McLeodganj. Okay. And he has been staying there without a passport, anything for a long time, and using a bank account, all that. Our country is porous. We have to ensure that this fraud doesn't happen. And especially the Chinese and the Pakistanis can come through anywhere. I think there's a whole lot of things which we can do internally, and that's what I spoke when I spoke to those 50 odd IG level officers. They're all IGs, law and order, all that. So I put this across that we need to be more vigilant with all these fellows and throw them out. They would be anywhere else. It's not only Chinese, it's not only Pakistanis. These could be in the form of other countries who will penetrate India and report for them, even USA, even the church. Why only look at Islamic thing? right? So I think there's some internal vigilance needs to be done more. I'll leave it at that. I'll talk of it another day, maybe with. I'll do it along with Shreya Ayerji one of these mornings, maybe on Tuesday or Thursday, Wednesday. So let's see how it goes. And yeah, he says Americans have altered this map. That's okay. They would have done it. They did it under pressure from Pakistan because Pakistan started crying and all. I agree with what you're saying, but well, they published it. When they published it, they had an idea, right? And I think we're done for the day today. Again, if you like this video, do press the like button and subscribe to Gunner Shot, and also join me as members. Like I said, I don't find enough people joining in, right? And I'll take some questions now. Arvind, thanks a lot for becoming a member, and grateful to you. Right. Uh, yeah, Vivek, I can't even respond to all your queries because you've been so active with so many things, but you spoken a lot of sense. I'll agree with that. How do you see India Chile FTA? We need to go because Chile has got a lot of raw material. I remember meeting the ambassador of Chile about 8-9 years back in Delhi, and China has exploited Chile quite a bit. Okay, Chile has raw material all along the Andes because you see, Chile is a very funny country. It's a thin strip of land west of the Andes, and the Andes, like Himalayas, has got a lot of minerals, and the Chileans want people to come and exploit those minerals. Interestingly, because that's how they get their economy going. So I think there's a lot of scope for that if you want to industrialize. Sir, Brahmos missile firing. Yeah, it is a fact. Right. Ritvik, I don't get why our people are so obsessed with US and Europe. I agree with you. We need to look at others also. Yeah. I have visited McLeodganj. Dharamshala is top of the hill where Dalai Lama lives, so security barriers are needed to scrutinize. Yeah, it's not that, Vivek. The point is, since the Dalai Lama is there, since the Chinese are very touchy about him. Touchy, they treat him like a terrorist. They call him a terrorist. So they would have a spy system there. They would be keeping eyes on McLeodganj. And when you catch people like that, this is only the tip of the iceberg. There must be a full MSS must be operating in McLeodganj in full detail. And where will they come through from? Nepal, Tibet. That's the point. Yeah, there is definitely racism involved against India by whites. I agree with you. You have to how do you dispel it? How do you dispel it? That's the most important point. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. YouTube is shadow banning channels like yours again. The same is reported by JD and DefTalk. Maybe. Okay. Yeah. But I you can help by spreading the word. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Vasu, long time. Great to have you back. Slow and steady growth will be sustainable. Avoid rapid, unsustainable rise and alone crash. Yes, we shouldn't crash. That's more important. Pakistan's military doctrine has shifted to full spectrum deterrence, which includes development of tactical nuclear weapons to counteract India's. This is an old story here. Campo, it's a old story. Full spectrum deterrence is what they've done from long. So don't worry about it. Assumption island के ऊपर Agni 3 gives additional reach. Yes. Yeah, Mahashivratri के हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं to the wise old general. It's not only to me, to everyone, the whole lot. Yep. Moran, yeah, that landing facility, emergency landing facility, PLA won't get scared. but I think we need more of them. Just one won't do, because we have done it in the Western sector for UAVs at various places. It's not said, but it's there. Yeah. Of task force deployment in Navy asset base in Indian Ocean with Dornier aircraft. Yeah, we do. Dorniers are good. Huh? They cover a big range. Hmm. I visited Egypt often. Every time a local asks, "What will India do with Bangladesh?" should have told them, given them a kick, and that's what they're going to get. Look, if Bangladesh doesn't behave, I think we should sort them out. That's my view. I have no job. Yesterday also I mentioned this. Turkey is part of NATO and not EU. Thanks a lot. We know that. EU is looking at new partners while Turkey is part of EU, NATO. It's, right? I think deepening military ties with France, Germany will work to our advantage. No doubt about it. Why send NSG to UAE SWAT challenge where China, Uzbek wins and Pakistan nearly beat? This is part of the diplomacy. Just don't forget about it. Yeah. Today's talk in this video is a tight slap to the people who are going to tax 7 countries like UAE and telling India is not growing as expected. After seeing the numbers you presented, thanks a lot. That's why I said, unless we tell everyone what we are doing, how will they believe it? How will they believe it? Right? That's why I do this regularly. I collect information, collect various things about various facets. That's why I talk of geostrategy, I talk of geoeconomics, geopolitics, international relations, trade, AO, and put it across. Get the AIP of this will happen, I suppose so. Thank you for the details. Thanks for joining in. That's more important, Barishwala. Yeah. Salute, sir. Read Dr. Shankar monitoring, mentioning G4, Brazil, Germany, India, Japan in a world forum. Don't know the significance of that group. That's the Munich Security Conference. That's important. I'm not got hold of that video. Maybe the next time I'll get and talk of the Munich Security Conference. Our relationship with Russia is consistent in the name of national interest. We stop purchasing Russian oil. No, nothing will happen. Don't worry. Things will settle in the thing. And because Russia itself, like I said, is switching towards US. Yeah, getting funding from Horizon, you can be a billionaire. Your Ramjet shell design would be talk of the Europe, and you can get your no, we're not. हमें वो billionaire से क्या करना है यार हमें? I'm a billionaire as it is. इंडिया में हम billionaire हैं, सोच में billionaire हैं, and I'm not interested in doing IPO for that Ramjet shell and all. That's a government of India property. I'll handle it that way only. Conservative one. Money is not the only thing in life. Okay. Yeah. Indians underestimate, take for granted the high level of political and social stability that they enjoy for nearly 80 years running. Yeah. That's a very important thing. We should stop underestimating ourselves. Right. Okay. Do you think we lack a sufficient number of companies to support growth? No, I don't think it'll unroll. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah, India should prioritize developing rural villages approach through research initiative instead of focusing on major cities. Completely agree with you, and it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Unlike this thing, we are not urbanizing at the pace at which other countries have urbanized. We are slow, and there is a seep down effect. And maybe next time I visit something in a village, I'll show it across to you, and I will. I have to. Okay, I think we've covered the whole lot of things. Yeah. How is our relationship with Nepal? It's good at this point of time. Nepal at this point of time doesn't have a government. March is their elections. So once their elections are over, I think we should start talking on how to, more than settling the border, how to monitor that border is more important. That border is porous, and there are a lot of unnecessary activities happening on that border, which I'll talk of. Yeah, thanks a lot for the informative video. Thanks a lot. Why is IAF interested in Pansy? See, this is not official. Someone has put it out. Let me speak to IAF guys whom I know, and then we'll come out of it. Right? Um yeah, you indeed hit the home run today. Breakdown was fantastic. Well, India has been invited in Horizon Europe. Again, it's a massive catalyst. Thanks for today's podcast. Thanks a lot, Malika, for coming up with this. I think it's about time we start making Baluchistan and dotted lines. Yeah, we'll see. Evening we'll talk of it. We'll talk of it in the evening. I'll talk of it in the evening. And today, what I'm going to do is I'll do this before the India-Pakistan match starts, and we'll talk of it say about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So all of you come back. I'm going to put it out. I'll put it out what I'm going to talk. We'll talk of Pakistan, Balochistan, because things are happening there. All right, and we'll talk of that in the evening. Most probably at about 5:30, maybe I'll put it out. Join in. Okay. Northeast has to be quickly integrated. Yeah, it is already integrated. It's only that those people who don't know don't understand. Okay. I think we've done for the day. Sunil, good morning. Right, and I've answered a lot of questions because when I'm with someone else, I can't take on all the questions. Right. So I'm getting back to form. Evening also, we'll take a lot of questions. Come up with it. I have no problem. We'll start at about 5:30 in the evening. Till then, have a great day, and we're going to talk of Pakistan. And we're going to talk of Pakistan, whose bill has been presented to them, and what they're going to do from there. Okay. With this, thank you. Have a great time. Enjoy yourself, and happy Mahashivratri to everyone again. And Jai Hind.